All right. So this is weird, seeing myself on screen, but I needed to record this lecture for you all. We're gonna go from slides like 24 to 40. And so I'm recording this at my desk today so that when I post it, you all can see it tomorrow. So don't think I'm wearing the same thing twice. So I need to figure out how to get the PowerPoint to show. Am I sharing screen with this? Share it. Okay, so hopefully you all see this, the same thing I see. You do not have classwork on this day. All you got is bell ringer video and bell ringer in the videos, to which you can find in Canvas. And so, starting with you all's bell ringer answer, as far as the Third Reich is concerned. So that's once Hitler got into power or established power anyway, he did away with the Weimar Republic and it completely entered into doing the totalitarian government under the guise of Nazism, and he created the Third Reich. As to Berger right here on the screen, what he thought was the Third German Empire, the reunification of all German-speaking people in Europe. And I cannot stress to you enough that this is what fascist people do. They try to rewrite history to favor what they're doing currently, or at least in the present. So, he went on to say that the Middle Ages was the first Germanic Empire, which history books don't say that. And the second German Empire came with the unification of Germany in 1871, which that did not happen with peace. That happened with a bloody revolution, Kaiser Wilhelm II. And so, according to Hitler, he said the Third Reich was going to last 1,000 years, and we know that that just ain't true. All right, so then you have militants gained control over Japan. They became nationalistic, just like Hitler. They wanted to have growing power. And you also have what was happening in Japan in the 1930s. This was rise of right-wing patriotism, the weakening of a democracy, which should sound familiar to you as far as modern-day politics in America, domestic terrorist violence, like maybe say storming the Capitol, and then it steeped up their military aggression abroad. Hirohito, the emperor of Japan, began building up a military and having several attacks on China with a dream of the Pacific Ocean domination. Hideki Tojo, he was the prime minister of Japan and the key leader in deciding to launch Japanese warfare in World War II. He was the reason for the Pearl Harbor attacks, which will make more sense later on when we lecture in person. You can pause these videos whenever you get ready, but I'm just going to keep on going. So Japan attacks China. They attacked them through the province of Manchuria in 1931. Mind you, Hitler is in power. Joseph Stalin is in power. Mussolini is in power. So now you have Hideki Tojo in power, or at least leading the military over there, advancing to using the military of Japan. So all these major powers, they have aggression. They swiftly Japan captured the province, which is roughly twice the size of Texas. What we're talking about Manchuria here, this is a part, Mongolia, the Mongols, Tashi, you joke about this all the time. And yeah, so this pretty much is the region to which they were, Japan went over into Manchuria to come across into what was modern day China. All right, so aggression begins in Europe. Yeah, so we know Japan and Germany quit the League of Nations. Naturally, Germany would quit the League of Nations. That was what Woodrow Wilson, World War I, 14 points, trying to prevent another war from happening. But once these major powers began to leave, that was the end of it anyway. Hitler began the huge military buildup in direct violation of the Treaty of Versailles. You're getting the title in the green part, the green bullets. So this first bullet and the last bullet, if you're taking notes. By 1936, Hitler sent troops into the Rhineland, which was a German region bordering France. So naturally, as you know, and for the World War II buffs that's listening, Wyatt Silas, you probably already know that that did nothing to defend, France itself when they tried to build up a border. So yeah, that's that. Civil War in Spain was happening in Spain at this time. Spain was not involved in World War II because they had their own civil war going on. General Francisco Franco, he was the leader of the fascist party in Spain. So again, they stressed militarism and nationalism. And Francisco Franco, he wins the Civil War, and he closely aligns himself with the dictators in Germany and Italy, like Mussolini and Hitler, formed something called the Rome-Berlin Axis. Underline, highlight, put a star next to that. They agreed not to go to war with each other. So Spain would not be invaded. I'm not sure if they had a strong enough military because they got that ass tap. They got that butt tap. I forgot I was being recorded. They got beat up on pretty bad during the Spanish American War. So they weren't really posing a threat on the global stage like that. But Germany and Italy was. So for you art fans out there, this is a Picasso piece. It's called Guernica, and it basically shows like the fascist government represents a bull that kind of ran and crashed through Spain at the time, which leads me to this. Ferdinand is a storybook bull who loves flowers. He was banned for being too nice. In the story of Ferdinand, which also has a Pixar movie, if I'm not mistaken, the title character refuses to spar with matadors in the bullfighting ring during World War II. Italy, the Soviet Union, and Germany saw his story as pacifist propaganda and banned it. Yeah, I don't know if this is Pixar at all, but it was a Disney story, and eventually, so I'm guessing it became a Disney movie. That did not, and then I think it came out like 2018, 19 or so. So United States remains neutral for now, with memories still fresh from World War One. Most Americans believe that the United States should not get involved with increasing aggression in Europe. Just that's the same way they felt with World War One. Many of them was like, we don't need to get involved in that war either. It ain't none of our business. Some critics believe that banks and manufacturers were pushing for war solely for their own profits. Critics called them merchants of death. That's where the name came from. I know Wyatt is probably sitting on the edge of his seat. So FDR, we are neutral and friendly at the time. You remember, he's the president that came in after Hoover. He's the president during the Great Depression and tried to get America out of the Great Depression. And FDR's policies in the early mid to 1930s reflected a desire to remain out of the growing conflict. He recognized the USSR as a diplomatic country. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, well, we're going to exchange ambassadors. He lowered tariffs and he withdrew armed forces from Latin America. He was practicing isolationism. We could really afford to get into a war. United States Congress stays neutral at the time. Congress passed the neutrality laws, or the Neutrality Act, excuse me. Underline, highlight, put a star next to this because it outlawed arms sales or loans to nations at war. But this only stalled United States involvement because remember, their older cousin Britain and their younger cousin France, both of them are actively going to be involved in this war as Germans' aggression begins to increase. And they got allies. There are all of these allies that was stemmed and created during World War One is what helped create this. And so, yeah, as you can see in this political cartoon, you have a guy sitting on the couch, wife standing over him, and war and another guy at the door. And United States sitting on the couch, and he's basically going, yeah, yeah, in a minute. Knowing Europe here, the lady is like fussing at him, like, hey, you gonna do something about this thing that's at the door? War is knocking at the door. So this is where we conclude our little lecture. This is quicker than I ever would imagine it would be in class. Don't get any ideas because I won't be doing this a lot. So yeah, that's that. And hopefully you all take the notes and watch this video and do whatever you need to do with it. Peace.